name is Romy Carol Whitman, and I'm a lecturer in the Organizational Leadership Department at the University of Arizona South. In this short video, I'll show you how to incorporate your Google site into your D2L course site. The purpose of the video is to show you some of the neat things you can do with Google Sites as a companion to your D2L course site. In future videos, I'll show you the basics of setting up your Google site. Let's get started. First, there are two basic ways that you can go about incorporating Google Sites into your D2L classroom. You can either let students know that this independent companion site exists and allow them full access to that, or you can link it into your D2L site. And I point this out now because it's important to understand the difference because it will guide you when you're building out your Google site, which we will cover in the next video. As I said, there are two different ways to set this up. You can either let students know that the companion site exists and so that they can access it either through D2L or just through the web, or you can kind of keep that fact hidden a little bit and just link to it through D2L. There's reasons to do it both ways. It's a matter of preference. Okay, here we have my course site in D2L for my fall LDRV 404 budgeting and financial management course. You can see that I have let my students know that this Google course site exists, and that is where they'll find supplements to the reading and the weekly lessons and so forth. This is an entirely online course, so those weekly lessons are really important, and I have put them in the Google site and let the students know that they're in the Google site so that they can access that site anywhere, anytime. They don't need to log into D2L to do it. But I will show you how I have let my students know that this site exists. First, you can see here in this course news, I have linked to the LDRV course website. And then I've also indicated to my students that this compass tool here is a link to the course site. So we can click on that. And here we go. This is my course site for LDRV 404. Again, this is just the lessons and content information. There's no student data or anything private included on this website. And you can see that I have week 1 getting started. This is since this is an entirely online course, we want to make sure that students understand how to navigate the website, where to go for assignments, assignment due dates, all that kind of thing. It's a handy spot for the syllabus right here with a drop-down menu for assignments, grading, and OCBs are basically an opportunity to get extra credit, our course calendar, and so on. And so this is all the course contact information they need right here in this site, easily accessible. For the future weeks of the class, I have it broken out, not quarterly, but in 3-week increments, and you can see how that is here. The trick when you do this is you have to have this all ready to go by the first day of class. You can't be building it out as you go. And so it is a bit of work. And this is the first class I've actually let my students know that these other weeks exist. I'm doing it with the proviso that assignments in the future can and will change. I will let them know so that they don't get too far ahead. And I remind them also that this is not a self-paced class. It may be online, but it is held to a calendar, so that helps alleviate some confusion with students. But there you see how you can link back to D2L. As I said, the Google site contains lesson information, content, additional reading materials, and so forth. The assignments, however, are kept within D2L, and we let students know this from the get-go. Again, trying to make things accessible from a variety of ways and to make it as clear as possible. So in my course, the way I have it set up, each week, my students have several assignment deliverables, and they can access them in the weekly checklist, and I'll show you how that is set up. Click on that. You can see I've got week 1, which is basically getting acclimated to the class, getting started, understanding the course and the syllabus. We start digging into some of the course concepts, but by week 3 we're really getting into the meat of the class. And you can see here that I have all of this broken out week by week to help my students. So here we'll click on here the week 3. And you can see that they have a number of assignment deliverables. The very first one you see is read, review, and quiz. Read and Review Week 3 Entrepreneurship and Business Plans. If you click on that, that is my week 3 lesson. So they come here and they can read about challenges of starting a business, some tools for business plans. I've embedded a video that I think illustrates some of these concepts very well. Another video on SWOT analysis. But you can see how this is a really handy way to have a lesson and to add content to the page. But the assignments all reside within D2L. So they know that they need to review the lesson. They also need to read, right here, their textbook, and then they have a reading quiz. And this reading quiz, I won't click on it because it'll take you to the instructor view and it'll look kind of funny. It's a reading quiz over Chapter 5 and it's in D2L. All of the quizzes, all of that kind of great information is kept within D2L. So you can see that these checklists make a real handy way for people to find the weekly lesson, link them back out to that Google site, and also let them know exactly what's due this week. Here you see my LDRV 302, the leadership function course that I taught last spring, and it is set up differently than the one I just showed you. In this one, I did not give people the knowledge that this independent course site existed, so that they had to go through D2L to access it. And I'll show you how I did that here. If you go up here to the top navigation bar and go to Content, click on that here. This is the opening page, and I've got a content section for each week, week 1, week 2, and so on. And here we have the weekly lessons. In this case, I called them guides. Going forward, I'm calling them lessons so that it's a little more indicative of what it really is for students, as well as the different quizzes and so forth. So this is set up a little bit differently than the checklist, but the concept is the same. So here, Guide to Week 1, click on it. And you can see that it did not jump me out to the Google site. Rather, it keeps me within D2L. This is good in that if you don't want students looking ahead, if you're still tinkering with part of your course several weeks down the road, you might want to set it up this way. But then this is how it looks to the student. You can see that it's kind of confined to this box. It still looks good and it's easy to navigate, but they have to come to D2L to access that Google site, and they must log in and look at it through that little window. You can see here, I've got my graphic popping up there on my content page. If you scroll down here again, you can see the different assignments, and here's the weekly guide. We'll click on that. Guide to Week 2. And you can see that again, it's within this little window. So it does not take you outside from a user perspective of the D2L environment. So for a student, they may not realize that this is a separate entity from D2L. And again, that was how I had taught previously. And with 404, I've decided to open it up a little bit just to see how the students like it. So how do you do this? How do you embed the link here? It's actually really easy. All you do is you go to New, and you have Create a Link here. You click on it, and then you just say, Week 3 lesson. Actually, this is Week 2. And then you copy and paste the link here. And here's the kicker. See how it says Open as External Resource? In 404, when I did this, I had this box clicked so that it actually took users outside of the website, or the D2L site rather, to the website. Here, I'm not clicking that so that it is not taken outside of D2L. It's kept within D2L. I'm not going to actually create it, but you can see how I've done that. So I click on that again. This is how it looks. We'll jump back. And if you want to edit the link, you can see that I do not have Open as External Resource clicked. Instead, you just have the title, the URL, which I have cut and pasted from the Google site, copied and pasted it, and I just leave this unchecked. In 404, I checked all of these so that they know that they can navigate that site. And that is how you handle keeping the Google site kind of hidden, for lack of a better term, within D2L. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you found this video helpful. Feel free to get in touch with me if you have additional questions. Again, I'm Romy Carol Whitman, and I'm a lecturer in the Organizational Leadership Program at the University of Arizona South.